Welcome back to Laugh, Cry, Rage, Repeat. Today's episode is called The Stories We Can't Tell at Dinner Parties. Because when you are parenting a child with special needs, you collect stories. Not cute little parenting stories, not the kind where everyone laughs politely and says, "Oh, kids are so funny." We mean the stories that make people freeze with their fork halfway to their mouth. The stories that are so wild, so uncomfortable, so hilarious, or so horrifying that you learn very quickly who your safe people are, because not everyone knows how to hear them. Some people panic, some people judge, some people look at you like you're exaggerating, and some people suddenly become very unavailable the next time you need a babysitter. But other special needs parents, they get it. They know that sometimes the story is funny and devastating at the same time. They know that dark humor can be survival, and they know that some of these stories do not just leave you emotionally drained. Sometimes they leave bruises. Today we are talking about the physical side of special needs parenting that does not get talked about enough. The injuries that happen in the middle of meltdowns, the moments where you are not thinking about posture, balance, or protecting your body. You are just reacting, surviving, and trying to get through it. And then later, when everything calms down, you realize your knee is wrecked, your body hurts, and somehow you still have to keep going. So today, we are telling the stories we usually save for the people who truly understand. The messy ones, the shocking ones, the ones that made us laugh, cry, rage, and repeat. Around here, we listen, and we do not judge.
Welcome.
Hey, you.
Hi, Jennifer.
Sometimes, Kim, I just like to stun people into silence.
Oh, with the stories?
Yeah.
Just
Well,
shock them?
I'll just shock them. Just casually drop into conversation like, "Oh yeah, I just got kicked so hard in the knee that I have a huge bruise now." Or my son punched me,
We're laughing.
and then just
Our
walk
kids
away.
beat us
Death
up.
stare them in the face.
Yeah.
I just like to shock. I like to shake people
Just
up.
like a crazy lady.
Just leave them left when they're trying to think, "What do I say now?" But you know they have nothing to say, or everyone says something a little differently. I have a true story though, one that happened a few weeks ago. He threw something at me so hard it hit me, left me a bruise, and then he kicked my husband hard enough to bruise him too, all the while spitting. He likes to spit, Kim.
The
There's
spitting.
a lot of spitting that happens.
Yeah.
I could tell you stories about face infections from his spit because he licks and touches everything.
That's why you bought that hydrochloric whatever acid stuff.
Hypochlorous
Hypochlor-
acid. Yes. I
Yeah.
spray that stuff
Yeah.
everywhere.
I ordered that too now, and I
Did you? I love that
spray it
stuff.
on my skin sometimes.
These are the kind of stories you can't really say at a normal dinner party unless you've prepared for the whole table to go silent.
Yeah, like the embarrassing poop stories. You can't tell
You can't
those.
tell those,
You can't
no.
tell those. No.
The thing is that about special needs parenting, some of the stories sound almost unbelievable when you say them out loud. They sound ridiculous, shocking, or like funny in a dark humor kind of way. I think I have dark humor, Kim.
You definitely have the dark humor. Yeah. It's the survival technique.
It's the survival humor.
Yes, survival technique.
Underneath the stories is something a lot of special needs parents understand. Sometimes you get physically hurt in the middle of a meltdown, and nobody really talks about that part.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
We are a group of bruised and broken
are.
people in society that are so loving and caring. And, we
just
can't
bury that trauma.
and we
deep
don't
down.
charge our kids.
Here's a real story though. A couple of years ago, we were replacing the flooring upstairs. So everything was torn apart. We were putting in some new electrical, and so we had to move our king size mattress into our closet, and it took up the whole floor.
I remember that you were sleeping in your closet for a while.
Sure, we're sleeping in the closet, and we had taped plastic across, so it was kind of closed off. So we didn't want the dust on our clothes. Made it a little separate room, and it was kind of just a bit of a chaos in our room. So that kind of added to my son's
Something that's different.
yeah,
Yeah. They can't handle that.
throwing him off a bit. So one night I was getting ready for bed, which is painful time of night. It's just a huge chore in our house. And my son came into the closet.
Why? Because you don't only have to brush one set of teeth. I have to brush three sets
brush
of
three.
teeth and floss three sets of teeth and wash three, you have to, all of the
all of
things,
it. You gotta do
meds.
all the things. Yep.
Then
Meds.
as soon as they brush their teeth, they always want to have a snack.
Exactly.
After they brush
Yeah.
their teeth, then you have to brush their teeth again. Yeah.
It's true.
Digress.
Digress there. Yeah. So my son came in.
Yeah.
He's having a meltdown. So he's jumping on the bed. He's rolling around on the bed and he's yelling, probably spitting. I can't remember but most likely spitting. And I tried to move him, and so the floor is not solid, and I'm like moving him, and I twisted, and I tore the meniscus in my knee. I was in so much pain because I couldn't even think. I was no longer in the zone. I just was like, get out of my room.
They kind of know that when they hit that point, usually, like when you mama bear or
Yeah.
when you hit that, like, get out.
And that's what it was. And I went into my bathroom, locked the door, and regrouped.
That's when we stopped going for walks.
It's true. I couldn't walk for like a year. I feel it. I've reached an age where I feel the hits and the kicks more than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
That- I
like,
just, like,
you put your back out because your kid like wanted
Tackles you to the
wanted to
ground.
have their iPad for 1 extra hour.
Yeah.
He got sideswiped.
There's like a whole nother podcast on the money we spend on like physiotherapy and Cairo.
It's true. You know, I have been bit, punched, kicked, all the things for many, many, many years,
Yeah.
so many times. So many times that I actually thought, why haven't I taken self-defense yet? Because when they're little, you can just hold them, right? You can just
Yes.
pick them up, kind of restrain them.
Big hug, big squeeze.
Big squeezes, right? Sensory stuff. But then when they get older and they get adults, you can no longer just pick them up and throw them under
No.
your arm. They're really difficult. So I thought, you know what? Someone should have a self-defense course for moms or caregivers with kids with special needs, because you need the self-defense. You need to be reactive. But also, you have kids who might be in a wheelchair and they're flailing or they're throwing themselves or they're still hurting you. So you have to consider it should be a specialized course.
It should be.
If you're out there and you teach self-defense, you
Make
have a
us a
market.
course.
Make us a
Yeah.
course. But okay, I want to talk about one thing about this, because
Talk to me about
when kids are aggressive, all behavior means something, right? You've heard that a
Yep,
billion
absolutely.
times, right? And usually they don't want to hurt you. They want, they're hyper aroused. Their whole system is out of whack. Their
of their
whole
body.
vestibular system. They can't self-regulate. And so they take it out on you. And moms get
Moms get it the worst.
800%.
Yep.
There's a research study on that. They treat
heard that
moms,
too.
kids
Yep.
treat moms 800% worse. So
Lucky us, hey?
going back to the Fragile X,
Yes.
a lot of the sessions that you go to the conference, that you're going to go to your conference, are about hyperarousal. And so they have this one session that I think everyone should take, where everyone at the conference gets into groups, and one person has to be the person with Fragile X, and then the other person has to be like the verbal input. So they're like the teacher or the person who's asking them questions. So they have to say, what's your name? What's your address? What color? What's your favorite color? And they have to just repeat that over and over. And then the other person is the environment. And so they're like touching your hair and spinning you around and playing with your clothes and tapping you. And then the other person is just making lots of noise, like clapping and singing. And so they are mimicking the situation that the person with Fragile X has. So all the while you're in the inside being the person with Fragile X, someone is going, what's your name? What's your address? What's your favorite color? And they're tossing you, they're touching you, and then someone's singing and making noises. And it's so crazy that when you do this for just 2 minutes, you feel crazy.
I believe that.
And you have so much empathy for someone with Fragile X and what they experience all the time. So when kids reach that max, it's hyperarousal, right?
Yep.
It's self-regulation. So it's never really about the aggression. Often it'll be triggered by taking a toy away, or they want more iPad time, or they can't transition away from, but imagine you're watching a favorite movie and someone comes and is like, "Oh, done. Can't watch your movie anymore." Like, how would you feel? You'd be pretty mad.
We don't do that. We always have to do, like, we have a big thing on transitions in our house. So there's always like 5 more minutes.
Right. Yeah. But like, if say like it's you
Yeah.
and someone didn't do that, to you and said,
True.
you have 5 more minutes, Jennifer, start. And you're like, no, but my movie's 15 minutes long. I just want to get to the end. Or like, if someone just came up to you while you're reading a book and just took your book away, imagine how you'd be angry. And so, but you have the ability to self-regulate. Like you would be like, what? Like, why take my book away? But people with Fragile X or people with special needs, they can't do that. So, or especially people who can't verbally express themselves. So what are they going to do? Their sensory is times 100. You're going to get some aggression.
Absolutely.
And we're the ones who are the punching bag.
Smith McGinnis kids, they're like a Jekyll and Hyde. 1 minute perfectly calm, and then the next minute you're taking a hit or getting something thrown at you, and you're just left trying to figure out what happened. What was the trigger?
So you don't have the ABCs of behavior. You don't get those triggers.
Sometimes we have triggers, absolutely, but we also don't have.
You have
triggers.
the switch. Sometimes you never know.
Yep. Tell me a story, Kim. You got. let's talk about something else.
So we've talked about physical stories.
Yes.
What about
and we have lots more for other days.
We've got them all. What about also situations where you felt completely embarrassed? Like, I've had my kids just poop in the middle of a street.
Yeah.
While there's cars and bicycles riding by. Things like that.
Yep.
Naked situations or
indeed.
I find embarrassing situations.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So we felt hurt. We felt embarrassed. And like kids do crazy things, right?
Yeah. I think you have a really good story about this, Kim. I've heard it a few times and I think you should tell it.
The story. Okay.
There's a church
story.
yeah.
Okay. Well, and here's also this is a story where parents, you should know your limit. You should know when to say no. And people with parents of kids with special needs should just say no to everything around them. But I didn't. I was a yes person.
Yeah.
And so one of the things at the church that when we went to, there was these family groups where you were assigned a time where you had to do all the roles around the church, right?
Okay.
And like the prayers and the readings and whatever. So it was my family group's time to be in charge of everything. I felt responsible, and it was during Lent. And if you don't know what Lent is, it's well, I'm not going to get into that. No. You can look it up. So anyway, I had to sign up to do the reading at this Lent service for Ash Wednesday, and it's typically like a really dark and solemn. Anyway, it happened so that my baby was sick, so I had to take my toddler. There was no choice because my husband had to stay with the baby. I think he was even in the hospital at the time. I brought all the things to entertain him. And of course, he's actually playing, he's doing thing right when it comes to the time where I have to go up and do the reading. He's sitting there and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go up here and do this reading. He gets into my purse and he's playing with the stuff in my purse because that's more exciting than the toys that I brought, right? Yep. I'm just doing the reading and all of a sudden he comes running down the aisle of the church and he stands right in the middle of the aisle and turns around and he has a pad, like a maxi pad, right in the middle of his back. And he starts yelling and screaming, "Mommy! Mommy!" And I was like, in the middle of the reading in this Lenten service, and he's got a maxi pad strapped right in the middle of the back. I was so horrified.
I would be horrified too. I'm like, that's not my kid.
Yeah,
I don't know that one.
Oh no, you can't. That was my kid.
How about some poop stories? I have one.
Okay.
Should I tell it?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. We went to Peru a couple years ago, and we decided.
Well,
hey,
first mistake. You took your kid with you.
What were we thinking?
I remember when you came back and you were like, "That's
never
it.
Again.
Never again.
Never again." We went on another trip, and then after that,
then
done.
Never again.
No more.
No more.
No more. Never ever again. This is the first day we arrived, and we hired a driver to we arrived at 4 a.m. So we hired this driver to take us around and spend the day with us until we could check in. And we're all in this car driving around, and every once in a while, I'm like, hmm, keep on going. We get out.
This guy doesn't have
It's
a very good
fine.
smelling car.
Yeah. And we get to this really beautiful spot, like lookout, if you will. And my husband gets out, my other child gets out, and I get out, and we're like, come on, like, get out. We're saying to my son, because he won't move. And I'm getting this feeling like, oh, he's not moving for a reason. So we kind of leave him, hoping it's not the reason I'm thinking. And every once in a while, we go and check because it's hot, right? And like, come on, get out, come see. And he's just shaking his head, no, no. So I kind of get close enough so that my nose reaches the window barrier, over the window barrier. And I'm like, oh, no, no. And I go, are you poopy? And he gives me that look like, I'm not going to admit it, right? So I motioned to my husband to come over. I'm like, you got to take care of this. He takes my son to some bathrooms that aren't really operational. We have to find, like, we don't have any wipes with us. And so,
You
or
made
not
a
enough
lot of mistakes
wipes.
there. You didn't
It's like
have
we didn't have
any-
enough or something. So he's with not really working water. He's got hand sanitizer, and he's doing his best to clean my son up. And I think some article of clothing may have gotten tossed. And he comes back up, and he's shaking his hands like, there's poop on those hands, but there's no running water, and not enough hand sanitizer
Yeah.
is gonna clean those hands. And then my son comes up like, everything's right as rain. I, meanwhile, I'm trying to be stealthy in the taxi and make sure there's no
But it
poop
just
anywhere.
smells so bad.
Airing it out, wiping it down. Luckily, it was pretty much stuck in the pants. So there wasn't a lot of smell. Not that I thought. I could have gotten used to it. But we all had to climb right
Yeah.
back in that taxi and keep going and just pretend nothing happened.
Oh man, there's so many trips where you
We didn't bring some of his clothes back on that trip.
Yeah, you just throw them out.
Yeah, you can't clean them after a
Yeah.
while. And now you all know it.
So many poop stories.
Mm.
Yeah, and I remember telling a poop story. I was a really traumatizing poop smearing everywhere story, right?
Mhm.
And feeling like really traumatized and shaken by it.
Mhm.
And I remember that night I had a gathering with some friends, and I was like, I walk in, I'm like, you won't even believe what happened today.
Mhm.
And I tell the story. The looks around the table, and these are friends of mine,
This is
right?
why you don't tell these stories. at
Exactly.
dinner
Like, so
parties.
my friend
Mhm.
not my friend, my sister pulls me aside and says, listen, those are stories that you don't tell your friends. Like,
Mhm.
you don't tell other people who don't have children
Yeah.
with special needs, because their kids aren't doing that anymore.
Yeah.
And you need your friends to babysit your kids, or you might need a favor from
Yeah.
those friends, and you want your friends to look at your kids in a good light.
Yeah.
So she's like, you don't tell those stories at that table. And
Mhm.
that was a big lesson for me, because it's true, right?
Yeah, you
can't
don't
just
talk about
you
it.
don't talk about it.
No,
You
keep
don't
it to
talk about your
yourself.
kid being aggressive
No.
and, poop smearing everywhere, all these traumatic, embarrassing things. You
Mhm.
might tell your mom, because so the people who get it,
Mhm.
but most people,
It's awkward.
they don't get it, and then they have an image of your kid.
Mhm.
If you only tell the negative, bad stories, and then they
Yeah.
have an image of your child.
Or when you're telling a story like this, and they try and tell you, "Oh, it's not that bad. It's okay. It's not that bad." I mean, there's good time, and you're like, "No, it is that bad.
It's that bad.
It's actually worse. I'm just telling this one because it's funny. It's not shameful or guilty. It's you don't
like,
you
how
don't want
do
to
you
be
normalize
ostracized.
it? How do you normalize it? Like, I notice now we're normalizing mental health a lot,
Mhm.
right? Where we can talk about the mental impact that we have,
Mhm.
that our kids have on us, or the things like that we're feeling. But how do you normalize behavior, like
Mhm.
odd, crazy behavior in society,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Make it socially acceptable because it's not talked about. It's not acceptable. We don't have anything to say about that. It's a tricky one.
that's a tricky one. Yeah, like, how do you go how do you normalize, like, unless there's someone at, like, say you go into a restaurant, right?
Mhm.
And here's a story. Here's a story.
Yeah,
Okay,
tell
this
me.
one just came up. We went to a restaurant. You know, you want your kids to have some independence, right? So one of them said bathroom. Okay, so they start going to the bathroom, and you see them. I saw them go to the bathroom area, and our kids don't understand the genders. So that's the one thing that they may go into the either gender bathroom. Deal with it, society.
That's why we just need no signs on the doors.
Yeah, all gender bathrooms, family bathrooms all around.
Exactly.
Because
I have this situation with
sometimes
my son too.
three adults have to go into a bathroom at a gas station, right? Like, because you have to take them both in, and we're all three adults going in all together. So anyway, we saw the kid go into the bathroom, and we were watching the door. The kid somehow didn't come back. And we're like, where is this kid? Most of my stories start with when this kid ran away, or I lost the kid. So the kid doesn't show up. We're looking everywhere for this kid. So then we start alerting the people in the restaurant. We go obviously check the bathroom. Kid's not there. We're alerting everyone in the restaurant. The restaurant has like a little market store where you could buy like stuff from the restaurant. Kid's not there. We checked the car. We checked everywhere. The kid saw an opportunity because their favorite store was across. They love going to thrift stores. There's a thrift store across the street.
Oh.
Busy street, okay?
Oh my. Yep.
Wanted to go see if it was open. We couldn't find. We looked for this kid for like 45 minutes, and the kid was running straight across the street because busy traffic, stopping traffic. Yeah, they look like crazy people out in society.
They do.
And I keep telling them, like, people are going to call the police on you.
Have people called the police on?
Okay, that's another thing we should talk about. Because this is fine line of like, the police are our friends we want our kids to know that the police are our friends that we can go to if we need help.
Right.
Right? But so many parents use the police as a scare tactic. Like, if you don't do this, someone's going to call the police.
Yeah.
Right. Do you want to go to jail? Like, they're not going to take the kid to jail, but like, have you ever used that as a threat?
I don't think so. I'm trying to remember, but I want to say no, but there's a possibility that there was a time when my son was maybe, defecating outside, urinating.
Yeah.
That we said, you can get in a lot of trouble for that. Where do we go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
In a bathroom.
Okay, well, we use the police as a threat, and also as the police are just doing their jobs. They're our friends. If we need the police, that's good. But one time, and this was, my son started getting comfortable with going for short walks around the neighborhood. So we're like, that's great. We don't live in a super safe neighborhood, but safe enough. Like, we know that he will never approach anyone that's going anywhere near him. So we're like, if someone goes anywhere near him, he's going to run away or across the street. And he had street safety. Right. Okay. One of my kids had street safety. So he would go for little walks, and he always was obsessed with traffic lights. So every time we want to go for a walk, he would say, to the lights, to the lights. Right. And so we thought he was just walking to the street lights just to stand in the corner and watch the street lights. Safe enough.
Yeah.
But what we didn't know was that he was actually, the lights meant the casino.
Oh.
And he was walking to the casino.
Did you start him gambling at a young age?
He still hasn't gone there. I think I think he thinks it's full of video games.
Yes.
And I thought when he
lights,
turned the right age, because he could go to the casino, I keep offering. We're gonna start getting him to gambling.
Maybe he's really lucky.
Maybe.
Keep going.
That's my retirement story. Anyway, he was standing on the corner of the lights, near the lights, and he was dancing. He loves to dance. So he's waving his arms, and I think he had an iPod, because he would put his iPod on and walk around. It was his joy thing, and he felt really independent. And he's waving his arms, dancing, and the police thought he was waving him over and needed help. So the police pulled over. He started running away. So then they kind of clued in, like, this is a kid with special needs.
Yep.
And so they started chasing him.
Oh no.
And they caught up to him. I don't know what the scene was, but they put him in this car. And this is in wintertime. And so he wasn't coming back, and he doesn't know his address. He has a picture, like, he could get anywhere in the city.
Yeah.
He could, if they just said, show us how to get to your home.
Yeah.
He would
Yeah.
walk them there. Like he could
Absolutely,
walk
yeah,
home
yeah.
and he could get places, right? You could say, where's grandma's house? He'd walk for an hour and a half to grandma's house.
Mhm.
You know, he could get there. But so they put him in the back of the car and they tried to locate him. And on his iPod, it must have said, eventually his first name somewhere.
Yeah.
And so they had his first name, and he doesn't have a very typical first name.
Mhm.
So they somehow located us and gave me a call, because I'm at home going like, where is this kid?
Yeah.
Right? It's starting to get dark. And he kept telling the police, I live where Olaf's house.
Mhm.
Because in the Christmas time, we have an inflatable Olaf.
Mm.
And we put it in our front lawn because he's obsessed with
Yep.
inflatable decorations. Who shouldn't be?
Exactly. Yeah.
So great. So anyway, they call me, they get our address, and I think I had maybe even called the police, like
Mhm.
notify them, because
Yeah.
that's another thing. Don't hesitate to call 911.
Mhm.
They are the people who connect you immediately. Don't go
Right.
look for your kid if your kid is lost.
Mhm.
Like, call 911 immediately. Don't feel
Immediately.
embarrassed about
Yeah.
it, because someone might have called them, and then they can connect the dots. So they drive up to the house, and he's like, see, Olaf. And he runs and he gives Olaf a big hug, and he keeps telling it. See, like, and then
Olaf,
remember
yeah,
Olaf?
That's right.
And he is
Yeah.
telling the story, but he's so traumatized, and he hasn't
Mm.
gone for walks by himself since. And that's been
Oh,
years. So that's too bad.
sad. Yeah.
It's real traumatizing.
It's very traumatizing.
But the police,
Yes.
like, I think that's one time we got pulled over. We kept saying our kids didn't like wearing their seatbelts.
Yeah.
And so one time they kept taking their seatbelts off, because Houdini.
Mhm.
And we said, if you don't put your seatbelts on, the police you're going to be in trouble. You're going to have to go to jail. Like, we would say
Yeah.
these things as parents, right? Which, you're not going to go to jail for not wearing your seatbelt, but you get a ticket. So this one time we actually got pulled over, and we just stayed silent. We let the kids speak for themselves. And the police officer realized. We're like, see, guys, we told you, keep your seatbelts on. And the police officer, I think my son even threw something out the window at him, like hit the police officer.
Yeah.
And me and my husband were just like,
Yep. This is how it is.
we're trying our best
Yeah.
here.
Did you get a ticket?
No.
The police officer's like, yeah.
So many
Okay.
times we just let them speak for themselves. This is what
I'll
we're
keep that
dealing
in
with.
mind.
Yeah. Why don't you interview that guy?
We've told a couple of stories here.
Yeah.
Random stories. Dark stories. Funny stories.
Embarrassing stories.
Embarrassing stories.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's some tips and tricks from our stories. What
Okay.
have we learned from these stories?
Tips and tricks.
Wear padding at all times to prevent injuries.
Well, yeah.
Sorry, I threw you off by that one, didn't I?
Wear padding.
Start licking everything to build up your immune system.
Well, work on your core,
Yeah,
because,
absolutely.
and also, like, take self-defense. Like,
Mhm.
I think that's actually a good tip.
Yeah, I
Because,
do. I
and work
agree.
on your
Yeah.
core. Like, be strong.
Didn't you
right?
tell me when if my son's coming at me to like redirect and throw him on the ground or something?
Yeah, because my son was coming at me not long ago, like really revved up,
Mhm.
and he was running right at me. And I knew, and usually when he's coming at me, I go to the floor first. Like, I just drop
Smart.
down,
Yep.
because, you
We're
don't want
getting old.
we're getting old. You don't want to have your knee taken out. So you just go down, right?
Yeah, I
And then
learned that
he'll lay
lesson.
on you
Yeah.
and whatever. But this time we were in public.
Mhm.
And so he was coming at me, and I just redirected. I got his hands and redirected his energy and like threw him the other way. I think that's probably in self-defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was good. It was a good
It's a good one.
technique.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Okay, well, so be strong, take self-defense.
Yeah.
Oh, also the other thing is, this is a really difficult one. And I
Mhm.
know I'm going to say it and then people are like, give me a break. But this is actually really, really true. And we should
Okay.
say this almost every podcast. You know how in airplanes where they're like, put on your mask first?
Yeah.
Right? If you are broken as a parent,
Mm-hmm.
you can't actually you can't help your kid self-regulate if
Correct,
you're
yeah.
not self-regulated yourself. So if you're finding yourself, you're getting beaten, you're getting hurt,
Mm-hmm.
you need to get yourself into safety first.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
hurting your kid isn't going to do
No.
anything. It's just going to re-traumatize both of you. And so putting your mask on first, and
Yeah.
hiding? Like you lock yourself in the room.
I do sometimes.
Yeah.
Not because I'm afraid of what I'm going to do, but because I'm afraid of what he's going to do. Because, he's gotten bigger and stronger. And if I can't redirect, I can't get into that calm zone with him. I have to walk away and lock myself in a room so that he can't hurt me.
Yeah. So you got to put your mask on first. You got to take care of yourself.
Exactly.
And we were talking earlier about doing third party talk.
Yeah.
This is a good tip because when you're not in hyperarousal, like when you're calm, say you're driving in your car and you're all in the car and they can hear you, you do what's like called third party talk. Or third person talk. So where I would say, Jennifer, when I feel angry, I usually take a big deep breath and count to 10. I'm going to just practice right now. And then you'd say, oh, that's a good idea. So when you're driving in the car, you kind of use a different voice. So the person knows you're in third person talk.
Yeah.
But
you got to make it big and ridiculous, right?
Yeah. Like, I'm feeling stressed right now.
Yeah.
I'm feeling, I think
and
I'm going to have to
hearing that, they're like, whoa.
Right.
But it's all for the kids.
But like when the kids are calm, it's really good to start to practice and talk about, when I feel this, I do this.
Yes.
And just like, and then model that behavior.
I think you had a tip that was related to a story that we didn't talk about, but I think it's a really good tip where always get changed first.
Oh, yeah.
I think
do you
that's
want me to tell this story?
A good tip. I think you should tell that story quick before we sign off here.
Oh, so many times. So my kids were runners.
Yeah.
And they would just bolt. So many of my stories start with, when I lost this kid. So my kids would just bolt. One time we went to a pool and there was a family change room that was very close and open to the family, to this pool area. And so, we had gone swimming and I went in to change and it was in the wintertime. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to get the kid changed first and put them all in their snowsuit ready to go. And then I took my bathing suit off.
No.
The kid learned how to open the door, gone, bolt immediately, right? Unlocked, and I'm naked.
Yeah. A little bit of panic.
Immediate panic. Grab a towel, quickly run out, and the kid jumped into the pool with the snowsuit on.
Sink to the bottom.
He sunk right to the bottom. Luckily, there was this woman there who pulled him out. And so that was a really scary story, right? Where your kid drowns. This happened at a beach. Same, like this is happened. I feel like our life is chaos. Not just one or two stories. It's like we just live in stories 24/7. So the tip. Oh, and also change room. Same thing happened. You're trying on clothes. Kid bolts and you're naked. And you're in a mall.
Yep.
So the tip is always
go shopping by yourself. No.
Put yourself between the door. Always put yourself between the door and the kid. And then always change first.
Yeah.
So you're ready to go at any moment.
Because it's okay if they're little and they're naked, but it's not okay if you're running through the mall naked.
Yeah. And call 911 immediately.
Yeah. Call 911.
That's my tip, because always call 911. Like always. It feels like a little dramatic, but you know what? If someone sees your kid and then they call 911, because can I tell another story?
Yeah, tell another story.
Okay.
I love your stories.
So this one time, we love to walk our kids. So like get exercise.
Yeah.
So what we realized is our kids they didn't like to walk. So they wouldn't ever want to leave the house to walk. So we would get one parent would drive us out far and then they'd walk home because they want to get home.
Yep.
That's our tip.
It's a good one.
It's our trick. So we were dropped off pretty far from our house and we were walking, and my son was not happy about going for a walk. And so he ran away and I was running after him, and he was really fast. I was running after him and he immediately jumped in the back of someone's, like the cab, or whatever, what's it called? The back of someone's truck.
Sure.
Like the box part,
the box
not
part.
The inside of the truck, but like the outside of the truck.
Yeah.
So he jumped in there and the truck drove away. And I couldn't get there in time.
Yeah.
And he drove away because the people didn't even see the kid jump in the back of the end of the truck. And the kid's gone and he's in the back of a truck. and the truck's driving away.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a cell phone.
Oh no.
And so I had to find a stranger and ask them to use the cell phone and immediately call 911.
Yeah.
These people are like, eventually at a light, and this kid probably pops up in the back of their surprise Chucky situation. Ah.
Oh, wild.
Anyway, 911 connected us, and but luckily the kid didn't jump out. Like that could have been really dangerous.
Those other people are probably panicking. We kidnapped a child and we didn't know it.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
And that's where we're gonna end, guys.
We're just gonna end with
We're
those.
just gonna end there.
We see you. We've been there.
Yeah.
You can't top our stories.
Here comes our outro.
Well, you could try.
Thank you for joining us for The Stories We Can't Tell at Dinner Parties. Today we talked about the kind of stories that sound unbelievable when you say them out loud. The chaos, the injuries, the meltdowns, the bruises, the spit, the pain, and the dark humor that somehow sneaks in anyway. These are the stories that can make a dinner party go silent, but they are also the stories that make another special needs parent look at you and say, "Oh my gosh, us too." And if you've ever been hurt while trying to help your child through a hard moment, we hope you know this. You are not alone, and you are not a bad parent for admitting that it is hard. You can love your child completely and still be exhausted. You can understand why something happened and still be angry that it happened. You can laugh about it later and still carry the pain in your body. That is the part people do not always understand, but we do. So until next time, be gentle with yourself, ice the knee, book the physio if you need it, and remember, we listen and we don't judge. Listen on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, and of course our website, laughcryragerepeat.com. Share your story, ask your questions, and remember, we're not medical professionals.
We're just crazy parents.
Mm-hmm.